Hi, everyone. So today we're going to talk about a really famous story. It's all about a cookie, but not just any cookie. This one is super fast and maybe just a little bit cheeky. Okay, I want you to picture this. You're in your kitchen and you've just baked something super yummy. You open the oven and poof, it jumps up and runs right out the door. Can you believe it? Well, that's exactly how this story kicks off. So our story begins with a little old lady and a little old man. Now, they lived in this sweet little house, but they didn't have any kids, and sometimes that made them feel a little lonely. So one day, to cheer herself up, the little old lady had a great idea. She was going to bake something extra special. Okay, so she gets to work. She mixes up all the gingerbread dough, rolls it out nice and flat, and then cuts it into the shape of a little man. And for the fun part, she gives him 2 chocolate chips for eyes and these bright, shiny red cherries for his buttons. He looked pretty great. Then, pop, into the hot oven he goes. Before long, the whole kitchen smells amazing. That wonderful gingerbread smell. But when the little old lady opens the oven door, whoosh, the gingerbread man stands right up on the baking tray, hops down, and before she has any chance to catch him, he runs straight for the open window and zips right outside. And just like that, the great gingerbread chase was on. I mean, can you imagine? The little old lady and the little old man were totally shocked. But hey, they weren't about to let their dinner just run away. And as he's running across the garden, he starts singing this little song. A very proud song, really, so everyone can hear him. He was just so happy with how fast he could run. They're shouting after him, "Come back here! Where are you going? You're supposed to be our dinner!" But nope, he was way too fast for them. So then, he runs right past a cow in a field, and the cow sees him and goes, "Moo, you look delicious. I think I'll eat you." But the gingerbread man, he just laughs and runs even faster, leaving that cow completely stunned. And he just keeps on singing that song of his. With every person and animal he outruns, he gets more and more sure of himself. He really starts to think that nobody in the whole wide world can catch him. Pretty soon, there's a whole crowd chasing after him. You've got the little old lady, the little old man, the cow, then a horse wants to eat him, a big pig and her little piglets join in, and even a hen. But you know what? Not a single one of them was fast enough to catch that little cookie. So the gingerbread man is feeling pretty good about himself. He thinks he can outrun literally everyone. But then he comes up against a huge problem, and this is one he can't just run past. He screeches to a halt right at the edge of the water. Uh-oh. He knows that if he gets in that river, he'll get all soggy and just fall apart into a gooey, mushy mess. He was totally stuck. But sitting there by a rock, very quietly, was a fox. And this fox had been watching the whole thing. Now, foxes are known for being sly, and this one had a very clever idea. He wasn't going to run, he was going to use his brain. So the fox just strolls on over and asks the gingerbread man if he needs a little help. He acts like eating him is the last thing on his mind. He's all like, "Eat you? Oh, heavens no, you're barely a snack." Okay, so this is a really important moment. The gingerbread man has a big choice to make, right? This fox seems nice, he seems helpful, but he's a total stranger. What do you think he should do? Well, unfortunately, the gingerbread man was so busy being proud of how fast he was and so worried about everyone chasing him that he just didn't stop and think. He didn't ask himself, is this stranger safe? He completely forgot to be careful. And this right here shows us something so important. It shows how someone can say something that sounds really nice, but in their head, they're thinking something tricky. The fox was acting like a friend, right? But what he really wanted was a yummy gingerbread snack. So the gingerbread man hops onto the fox's back. As they start crossing, the fox says, "Ooh, the water's getting deeper. Why don't you hop onto my neck?" And then a little later, my neck's getting a bit tired. It would be much better if you just sat right on my snout." See what he's doing? He's slowly, cleverly tricking him into moving closer and closer until, well, it was too late. The very second the gingerbread man sat on his snout, the fox flipped him up in the air, opened his mouth wide, and snap. He caught him in one single bite. And just like that, that was the end of the very fast, very proud little gingerbread man.
So when you think about it, the most important part of this story isn't really about a cookie that can run. No, it's about the huge lesson we can all learn from the big, big mistake he made.
See, the gingerbread man's huge mistake was that he was in a tough spot and he decided to trust someone he didn't know at all. And why? Just because that stranger said a few nice words. He didn't stop to think that maybe, just maybe, the fox was trying to trick him. And that's something that is just so important for every single one of us to remember. Even if a stranger seems super friendly, or if they offer to help you, you have to always, always be careful. Sometimes their nice words don't match up with what they're really thinking. And this brings us to the biggest takeaway of all. Unlike the poor gingerbread man, you have safe grown-ups in your life that you can always, always trust. So if a stranger ever tries to talk to you or offers you something, the absolute smartest and safest thing you can possibly do is to go find a parent, a teacher, or another grown-up that you know you can trust and tell them about it right away. That's the real lesson here.